Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of class. In today's video, I wanted to introduce a couple of the assignments that you will be completing throughout the semester. So the first one is called Levels of Questions, and every discussion board that we use for this semester will require you to use levels of questions. So what this is instead of me asking the questions as the instructor and you giving the answer as the student, which is what we've been trained to do for years and years, our discussions are going to be based on the questions that you guys write. And so each discussion board, your post will be the questions that you want to pose to your classmates regarding the reading. And then the responses will be your classmates answering the questions that you've written. Now, in the very beginning, it takes a little getting used to, kind of flips the paradigm because as students, you're used to answering the questions. And now you get the opportunity to write the questions. So review this assignment that's posted on Blackboard so that you can get a little bit of background in the directions. But more specifically, I want to go down here and talk about what the different levels are. Okay, so level 1 questions are the ones that you're used to seeing on a reading quiz. They're the who, what, where, when type questions that just basically prove you did the reading. We will not be writing level 1 questions because level 1 questions just give a straight answer right from the text and they don't promote discussion. And the whole point of our time together is to discuss literature and ideas. So we want to write questions that will spark great discussion, great ideas around the literature that we're reading. So in our discussions, you guys, your posts will be either writing a level 2 question or level 3 question or a mix of both. So level 2 questions are about the text, but not explicitly found in the text. So they're more like how and why questions. And so your reader or your student answering them is going to have to make inferences as to why characters behaved a certain way or how certain outcomes became to be. Now, level 3 questions take this even a step further. And rather than talking about the text itself, the why or how of what happened in the text, the level 3 questions ask questions about big picture. How do these ideas and these themes from the text connect to the world? So in level 3 questions, you don't even actually reference the text because it's not about the specifics of the story. It's about this ideas and themes that were brought up in that story and how they connect to us as readers and to the world that we live in. Okay, so level 2 is explicitly about the text, but requires inferences, requires people to think and make guesses as to the how or why from the story. Level 3 focuses on the ideas and the themes of the story without specifically referencing the story. This really connects the ideas to our bigger world that we live in. So those are levels of questions. This first time around, maybe the first 2 discussion boards, again, it might flip you a little bit because you guys are used to providing the answers. But by writing the questions, we are going to be discussing literature and your ideas, which is really the framework of this class. And so I'm really excited to see the questions that you come up with and then how you answer one another to create a really fun, rich, engaging, relevant online discussion. The second component I want to talk about today is critical theories. So everybody signed up for a critical theory presentation last week. We have 3 different critical theories we're going to be talking about this semester and using. But before we jump into using critical theory, I want to give a little bit of background about what critical theory is. So I'm going to pull up this image here. Critical theory is the lens in which we approach literature. Since literature is the story of our lives, there are so many different ways we could approach talking about a story or writing about a story. And so critical theory gives us the glasses, as it shows in the picture here, in which to interpret or analyze the text that we're reading. Now, there's no right or wrong critical theory. There's a lot of different theories out there in how we can interpret literature, but there's no right or wrong theory. They are just different doors in to the same story. Okay, so we might think of a story as a roundhouse. We could come in one door, totally enter the same story. We could walk around and come in the opposite side, same story. Okay, so they're just different doors in, different lenses to get into a story. We will be using critical theories as a tool for analysis. And so you'll see, for example, if we were to use a feminist theory, when I read a short story, I would use the lens of how are women portrayed in this story? What is the woman's role? How do they come across? How does the author portray women and their value and their integration into society? So that would be a feminist lens or a feminist theory. Could use a eco-critical theory, which is about how is the environment portrayed through this story. Okay, so again, it's just a different lens in. Our first critical theory is going to be reader response, which is, you'll learn more about it, but just the basics. A reader response theory is, how does the story connect to my life? What is my response as the reader to this story? So again, critical theory, critical literary theory, is just the lens in which we're approaching. It's the door in which we're entering the story, and we'll use it as a tool or an approach, perspective, for our analysis for each unit. So more of that to come, but wanted to just give you a little bit of background on literary theory. There's a lot of them out there. Nothing's right or wrong, just a different door into how we analyze and approach literature. So really looking forward to this week's discussion. I can't wait to see your questions. And if you have any questions for me, please reach out and let me know.